So here's some breaking news for you. The Celtics season has been pretty rough. However, they do have a chance to hit the reset button a little bit, as the postseason is not too far away. And to me, Jayson Tatum is the most important player on this team for this playoff run. Because they're going to need one guy besides Kyrie Irving who can make tough shots against good defenses. The thing with Tatum is he's got to be a lot more aggressive, and he needs to attack the rim more often, because this year he's taken way too many mid-range jump shots, and it's making his game inefficient, and it's hurting the team a bit. I think the reason it's got to be him is because I don't think anybody else could do it. Gordon Hayward, you feel for the guy, and you hope he can get back to what he was, and he has gotten better each month, to the point where he actually is a nice, efficient 10 points a game guy. But this team is going to need a lot more than 10 points per game, and I don't know if Gordon Hayward can be a huge source of offense. Jaylen Brown has actually been pretty good for the last few months. His three-pointer has been a lot better. His decision-making has been more precise. He's not hijacking the offense or taking bad shots or any of that. But even so, Jaylen at his best is going to give you, 14, 15 a game. I mean, he's not going to run a whole bunch of pick and rolls and a bunch of ISOs and attack mismatches and all that. He can be a nice complementary piece, but you can't run the team through him like that. Horford, I mean, he's going to do his Al Horford thing. I think playoff Al is real. His spacing is going to be great against a lot of the centers in the Eastern Conference, and his defense is going to be there, and his playmaking is going to help this team out a lot. But in terms of just simply getting buckets, Horford can't really do that for you. Marcus Morris has had moments for the Celtics the last 2 years, and he's had some big point totals, but he's more of a finisher and an off-ball guy. And in fact, sometimes he gets himself into trouble when he tries to create his own shot a little too much. But I do trust him to be an off-ball player, a catch-and-shoot guy, and all that. But again, you can't rely on that kind of dude. You need a guy like Kyrie Irving who can just create offense out of nothing. And you also need Jayson Tatum because, I mean, of all the guys I just named, can any of them do what Tatum can? I don't think so. But again, if we get back to those mid-range jumpers, I mean, Tatum can make these in. It's not as if he's fallen off that hard with his percentages from his rookie season. It's just, it could be so much better. I mean, about 30% of his shots come from within the mid-range. 1/3 of all of his attempts. And if you want to stretch that a little more, you could say that from between 5 feet and long two-pointers, it's over 40%. I mean, it's so frustrating because you know that with his creating abilities, Tatum can get to the rim a lot, and we've seen him do it, and I'm going to highlight all that in a second. But instead, he just wants to play this cute basketball that is not as effective. Now, there are some things that Brad Stevens can do to help Tatum out, one of which is just get Terry Rozier out of the game when you need to. Brad has had a pretty loose leash with Rozier this season, and I think it's been the wrong call. I mean, I know they don't have another real backup point guard option because Marcus Smart is more of a 2, but I mean, he's just been really bad. But even so, Tatum's just got to be more aggressive. I mean, if you remember that Philly series where Tatum was kind of the number one option, he was attacking the basket pretty much whenever he wanted to. And I think it was really impressive because that Philly team was one of the best defensive teams in the league last season. And for whatever reason, between the playoffs and this season, Jayson Tatum has just had this thing where he wants to take more mid-rangers and he wants to, I don't know, put on a Kobe Bryant impression, whatever it is, but just go to the rim, man. I mean, Philly did not have an answer for him, and I don't know who would have an answer for him if he just put his head down and just went to the basket. And if he does that, then the Celtics are going to be pretty difficult to deal with in the playoffs because then you've got two guys who can just create offense out of nothing, as I said earlier. I mean, for all of the stuff you could say about Brad Stevens' offense and off-ball movement, you got to be able to make shots. And I know Kyrie is going to do his thing. I'm not really worried about his shot selection. But with Tatum, I think a lot of it just comes back to being aggressive going towards the rim. I mean, I know he can make threes, but to me, his game goes to that next level when he's just putting that constant pressure on the defense by looking to get to the rim. So if he does that, then I think the Celtics could be okay. If he doesn't, ugh.